Every major conflict in the modern era exposes the same structural flaw. It's not just about borders or ideology. It's about the invisible system of pipes, cables, and supply chains that keep modern life running. When tensions rise between the United States, Israel, Iran, and the wider Middle East, the impact doesn't stay regional. It moves instantly through global energy markets. Oil prices react within hours, shipping routes become risk zones, insurance costs spike, and suddenly the price of fuel, electricity, and goods begins to climb thousands of miles away. We saw this clearly during the Russia-Ukraine war, where energy was not just disrupted, but actively weaponized. Gas flows into Europe were reduced, infrastructure was targeted, and entire economies were forced into emergency response. This is the reality of what can be called the fossil fracture, a system where a large share of global energy supply is concentrated in a small number of politically sensitive regions. When those regions destabilize, the effects ripple across the entire global economy. A single disruption in a critical choke point, like the Strait of Hormuz, can influence inflation rates, industrial output, and national budgets across continents. And this is where the idea of renewable energy as a solution becomes compelling. Solar and wind offer something fundamentally different. They are local, they are distributed. They do not rely on fuel shipments crossing oceans or pipelines running through contested territory. You cannot blockade sunlight, and you cannot sanction the wind. During the peak of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, decentralized energy systems, particularly small-scale solar, played a critical role in maintaining electricity supply in critical locations, including hospitals and communication centers, when centralized infrastructure was under strain. At first glance, this looks like the answer, but the reality is more complicated, because transitioning to renewable energy does not remove dependency, it transforms it. Instead of relying on oil and gas concentrated in regions like the Middle East, the system begins to rely on critical minerals. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements become the foundation of energy storage, electric infrastructure, and grid expansion. And these resources are not evenly distributed. Many are concentrated in a small number of countries, with supply chains that are complex, fragile, and in some cases politically unstable. Processing and manufacturing are also heavily centralized, adding another layer of risk. So the system evolves from one form of concentration to another. This creates a new kind of vulnerability, not one defined by pipelines and tankers, but by mining output, processing capacity, and global trade dependencies. So the question is no longer whether renewable energy can replace fossil fuels. The real question is whether it can create a more resilient system. And the answer is not in choosing one over the other. It lies in building something more complex, a system designed not just for efficiency, but for survival. This is where the concept of anti-fragility becomes important. Instead of a single centralized grid that can fail under pressure, future energy systems are likely to become more distributed and modular. Local grids, supported by solar, wind, and backed by storage technologies like batteries and high-density hydro, can operate independently when needed. In this kind of system, failure in one area does not collapse the entire network, it isolates it. This is already beginning to take shape. Countries are investing not just in renewable generation, but in energy storage, grid flexibility, and localized infrastructure. The goal is no longer just decarbonization, it is resilience under stress. Because in a world where geopolitical conflict is not going away, energy systems must be designed with disruption in mind. Renewables are not a perfect solution. They do not eliminate risk, but they do change the rules. And in doing so, they offer something the fossil fuel system never could: a path not to perfect stability, but to controlled uncertainty. Because the most valuable energy system in the modern world is not the cheapest or even the cleanest. It is the one that can keep running when everything else breaks.